Hello family, this is Deborah, and as you see we have redirected for good reason. I'm going to start off by talking about the subject at hand today. The subject I'm going to be talking about today is the fact that we are behind enemy lines as if we are trapped inside of a beehive. Trapped inside of a beehive. Okay, now if you can just imagine what that would be like. Okay, and we're going to say that the earth is the beehive and we're trapped inside of it, behind enemy lines. It's unfortunate that even on the continent of Africa, that the people are behind enemy lines, because I don't think we know and understand what a true enemy is. We look at one direction. We say, okay, now that is a known enemy, but we don't look at the enemies within. We don't look at our own selves. When you look in the mirror, that person that you're looking at is also an enemy. And so, because we are surrounded, I want to give you an idea of what I mean. We are surrounded by enemies. The man or the woman in the mirror, those who have conquered us for centuries, and people who look just like us. We are behind enemy lines, and we don't even realize it. It is amazing to me that when we look at the things that are taking place in the world, we are all so amazed and so shocked. And we look at these things and we say, we need justice. We look at these things and we cry out. For years on this channel, which is why I've decided to redirect. For years on this channel, and I've seen many others just like myself, who we look at the cares of this life, the things that are happening in this world, around this world, and we look at those things in awe. We look at these things as if we are awestruck or in terror or horror, whatever the thing is that we're looking at. We have so many different ways that we're looking at these things. And when we understand history, there is nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. All of these things that we see have been seen and played out once before. We're just living in our reality today. And for most of us, our reality is what social media has given us. Because many times, things have been blocked from us. We weren't seeing everything. We weren't seeing every side, or both sides of the coin, should I say. And so our perspectives were drawn from what we saw, what we were able to see. But now in this age of revealing, this age of knowledge, where knowledge is greatly increased, everyone has applied their meaning to even what it means to have knowledge greatly increased. We're looking at the wrong thing. You see, the wrong things. Our focus is not where it should be. We are forgetting that we are behind enemy lines inside of a beehive. Okay. One thing I wanted to talk about, and which I'm going to talk about a number of different things in this video. I am not sure how long this particular video is going to be. But I want you all to pay attention to what is being said, because many times things are being said in any particular platform, and you will look in the comment section and you can tell that the people are not even paying attention to the words that are being spoken. They're not taking them to heart. Many times it's just something to watch, a form of entertainment, something to pass the time by. Well, in this redirecting process, I hope not to be here to help you pass the time by. I'm hoping that you're going to listen to and grasp what is being said. Because it's not about to get real, family. Things are real. Very real. And I don't believe, as a matter of fact, I know for a fact that the majority of people in this world have no idea how real it is and how real is about to get. In other words, it's going to progress from here in a direction that is going to blow your mind. Okay? When I see the things that are happening, and I'm going to real quickly talk about the things that are happening in the so-called black community. None of this is new. I look at the young man, Botham John, for instance. There was a video on his channel, as a matter of fact. Somehow his video or his channel showed up in my feed, and I only saw one video on the channel. Very well-spoken young man, educated, very religious, and appears to be Christian. And you can tell that he was a really nice and focus-driven young man. But his life was snuffed out. His life was snuffed out. And the same thing is being played out right before our eyes. And many of you have the same rage that you felt for the hundreds of cases before his. I was one of those people at one time where I would get so deeply hurt when I saw these things. Now let me just clarify, I'm still deeply hurt by the things that I see, but I have a different perspective now, a different understanding of these things, in which this has been in the making for a long time now. My understanding is the things that we are seeing played out were written before the foundation of the world, including how this young man was to die. And I know that many of you who don't understand won't agree with that. But if you have any belief in the Most High, that includes those of you who call yourselves Christian, that includes Botham Jean's mother, anyone who knows this young man, or anyone who has lost a loved one to some type of tragedy. That goes for all of us, whether our lives are good or bad. It was all written before the foundation of the world. And so you have to ask yourself, why was it written this way for this young man? And why are things being played out the way that they are being played out right now, at this moment, for this young man? For you, for me. Why is my life the way it is? Why is your life the way it is? It was already written. We are all living out a story that has already been written. And so you have to ask yourself, the information that you take into your mind, into your ears, how do you process that information? That is going to determine how your story ends. For many of us, life has become a game. The internet has given us a way to forget about reality. Yes, it has. Although there are many truths being broadcast over the World Wide Web, many of you take it with a grain of salt. But the garbage and the chaos, you are taking that in, you're just eating it, gobbling it down, and you apply that more to your life than you do reality. Now the reality is this. We are inside of a beehive behind enemy lines. And we don't even realize how to continue with this fight, because most of us have gotten so engulfed in utter nonsense. Now get this. I don't want you to misunderstand what I'm saying. Again, I'm going to say a whole lot in this video. I don't know how long this video is going to be, because I can sit here and I can talk for days. I can talk for days, family. What we see is that so many stories are being thrown at us constantly. We're hearing about tragedies and victories and symbolism and Illuminati and flat earth and Mandela effect and death and life and peace and gardening, and we're hearing about tiny homes and self-sufficiency and celebrities. We're just hearing about so much. We're hearing about white supremacy, thugs, hoodlums, rugrats. It's being thrown at us so fast to where our minds are not processing things properly. We're hearing so much so fast. And you're taking in all this stuff, and guess what? You're clogging up your brain. You're getting brain fog, literal brain fog. And when that happens, it slows down progress. Imagine yourself driving on a road. Everything is so clear, so open. You can see the fields on the side of you. Just say you're going through the country, okay? You can see cattle over here. Someone's raising goats over there. You can see chickens and red barns in the distance. You can just see all the beauty of nature. You can see the sunshine and the clouds above your head. Occasionally you'll see a bird pass by or a flock of geese fly overhead. You see, we are seeing all these things so very clearly, right? And as you travel up this road ahead, you see something that looks a little awkward. You don't see the blueness in the sky as you do on the side and behind you. But as you get closer and closer to it, it's a patch of fog. And as you begin to drive through it, you begin to realize that you have to slow down because you can't see anymore. It's so thick that you cannot even see one vehicle in front of you. You've hit a patch of fog, thick fog. Not thin, but thick fog. And it slows you down. That is what we are experiencing, family. There is a patch of thick fog in your brain because it's so cluttered with things. So cluttered with everything unimportant to where the things that you need to focus on are being ignored. The things that you need to focus on are being ignored. Now, it's not to say that the news that is being thrown at us is not important. But how we are processing this information, that's where the problem comes in. Most of us can't even fathom the road ahead because we are so focused on the nonsense of this world. And the chaos is just building and building and building. And people are ignoring the chaos because they are so focused on things that they shouldn't even be focused on. Now, again, things that we hear about are not to be ignored. But you have to ask yourself, how much of it do you need to look at and focus on before you say, okay, now it's time to take action? I feel like we are just hamsters on a wheel running. We're running, but we're going nowhere. On my channel, for many years, I have talked about things that are happening in the Black community. I've been talking about the awakening. I've been talking about white supremacy. I've been talking about what's going on in the continent of Africa, what's going on in the Black family structure, what's going on with our men, what's going on with our women, what's going on with our children, what's going on in the educational system, growing your own food, planting gardens, and doing all of that. We've talked about so many things on this channel. And that's not to say that none of that is important, because much of it is, and I'm going to continue to focus on some of those things. But what I begin to realize when I look at my channel, when I look at other people's channels, and when I look at what's going on Facebook, what people are talking about, it is all talk up and down the line. We're all talking about the same things. And when I look at the comments are the same. You go to this channel, you see the same comments. You go to that channel, the same comments. Where people are talking about their hate and their disgust, their disdain, their misfortune. They're talking about all these things. They're saying all of these words of bitterness, and everyone's talking about their hatred of this or their hatred of that. How they're going to kick this person's butt, what they're going to do when this happens, what's going to happen here. You're wrong, you're off. Everyone is just focusing on the comments and not necessarily on the content, not necessarily on anything that matters. No focus on solutions. Now, even if you're talking about solutions in your video, the focus goes elsewhere. And so, again, I feel like we are hamsters running on a wheel, going nowhere. We're just looking for the next person to entertain us. As I see various ones on the internet that I've seen for years, I see newcomers and I see the old and the new, and I see that we're all talking, and it's almost as if we are entertainment for our listening or viewing audience. More like entertainment. Now, don't get me wrong, family. I love all of you all, and I appreciate your support. I appreciate those of you who have followed the channel for years, those of you who enjoy the content, those of you who encourage us, even those of you who have bad things to say about us. All of this stuff, when I look at it, I want to know that there is change that is taking place. I don't want to be entertainment. I don't want to be someone to watch, someone to listen to, if there is not going to be any progress. If you're not going to apply the knowledge, if you're not going to take steps in the right direction, because then it becomes a waste of time. Now, I do realize and I understand. I thank many of you who have, sent encouraging messages where for years you've watched our gardening videos and you have been inspired to get started yourself. And as a result of watching our channel, you're encouraged by it. I appreciate those who are blessed by the content. What I don't want is to be a channel of entertainment. Some of you come here because you love Sister Deborah, and guess what? Sister Deborah loves you too, very dearly. And I really enjoy meeting many of you when you come to our Kodesh events. I know I've said it before, but I do. I love meeting my people. I love being able to embrace and hold my people and just touch you, because right now we just see each other through video. I enjoy that. I want to talk real quickly about something. I noticed something that the enemy was trying to do to me specifically. He was trying to do something to me specifically. And I had to fight it, family. I had to fight it. As you all know, we observed the Day of Atonement. And even prior to that, though, there was a lot of reflecting going on. We had already purposed in our minds that we were going to redirect. We just didn't realize we were going to name the channel Redirecting as well. It just kind of came that this is a great name for the channel, okay? But we were already heading in this direction. Already. It's been a long time coming, but the change has come, family. But one thing that the enemy specifically tried to do to me, and it's been building up over time, okay? For a long time, I've known that there was a certain spirit on me. And this spirit was and is a spirit of love. I have a spirit of love for my people. And it's been that way since I was a child. A lot of things that I would focus on as a child, a lot of young people just don't focus on. I was a kid. I used to play. I rode my bike. I used to swim. I did all the things that children do. But there was a certain spirit I even noticed back then that I had for my people. I had a great deal of love for my people. I had a great deal of compassion for my people. And I still do. But let me tell you what the enemy tried to do. I'm going to get to that in a moment. As a matter of fact, when I was a teenager, and I think I may have shared this once before many years ago, I didn't see so-called black people as separate. I saw them as one. And I know we have many different tribes around the world. I do. I know this. I know that there are the children of Ham and there are the children of Israel. Even the children of Japheth started off as black. Okay? That's a whole other video. I'm not getting into that right now. But I've had this love for my people, and as a child, as a teenager, should I say, a very young teenager at that, I didn't have much money. I would make a little money here and there from selling my art, but I remember getting some correspondence in the mail. At the time, there was no internet. There was nothing like that, but there was a correspondence in the mail. I think it was inside of a book or something, where it would say save the children or feed the hungry or something like that. They would show images of these children in Africa. And even though we ourselves were poor, I was able to recognize that I had more than some of these children. Now at the time I didn't realize that Africa was as wealthy and as beautiful as it is right now. It's always been that way. There was a smoke screen placed over our eyes to where we were only shown one side of Africa, where they had the big bellies, flies in the eyes, and starving and all of this. And all of that was propaganda. Although these things are taking place, that is not the whole of Africa. Okay? As a child, that's what we were spoon-fed. But anyway, I remember taking the little money I had. I said, I'm going to adopt me a kid in Africa because I felt so deeply for my people, you see. And so I did. For a few months, I was able to afford it. I had to send money every month, and they sent me a picture of a specific African child. And in my mind, that was my child, and I'm going to send my little bit of money to feed that child. I know it all was a hoax now, that I was throwing my money down the drain, that I was actually making someone's pockets fat, and that the majority of that money never made it to the children of Africa. That's a whole other video, family. And what I know about what they are required to give from actual donations, that's a whole other subject. But I said all that to say this, that I've always had this love in my heart for my people. And the enemy tried to steal that from me, using my people, my own people. Some of you may remember the message I did last year, I believe it was, Enemies Come in Black and White. And over the years, what I've noticed of my own people, coming up, I was very forgiving about anything a black person did, right? But as time wears on, you begin to see that there are some very wicked, hateful, deceitful, and low-down black people who can be your worst enemy, worse than any enemy you've ever had. And as I begin to see these things, as I begin to see what has taken place, things that have been happening to my family, things that have happened to others, I began to see that there was a reason for all of this. And later on I found it in Scripture that it was prophesied that we would be this way towards each other. But in all of that, I found myself being very, very bitter. Very bitter, not understanding a mindset that could do some of the things that I've been seeing in the so-called black community. It is what it is, family. But I began to see those things, and it would really just hurt that our people could be so blind to think that this is the way we're supposed to be to each other. And so I felt something happening within, and I was fighting like crazy. Fighting, family. It was a struggle. It was a struggle. Whenever I would see stories where there was a just senseless killing, okay? I covered a lot of this stuff on my channel. And I'm going to put all the personal things that happened to me aside. They are there. Many of you know some of these things, right? But as I began to see how damaging all of this was to my spirit, and how there seems to be no change, that these things have taken place for a long time and they continue to take place, I began to become very bitter. Because, again, I cannot fathom the kind of hatred that I see among black people for other black people. I can't fathom that. It's something that I cannot connect with. And even now as I speak, I saw a comment where someone was saying that when you look in the comment section, you get so depressed just from the bickering, the fighting, the hatred. It can become very overwhelming. And so I said, I've got to redirect, family. I want to focus on solutions. It's one thing to cover a story, because that's what I felt like me and so many of us do. We're just covering a story. We need to know what is happening, but most of us are here just to know. We're here for entertainment. We don't go because this person is providing solutions. Many of you don't come here because I'm providing solutions. Although we do have solution videos. Someone pointed this out to me. It was amazing. But it was a Gentile too. They said, Deborah, I notice when you talk about certain things, you don't get a whole lot of feedback, or you don't get a whole lot of response, or even a whole lot of views. But when you talk about certain things, it's like you get a lot of attention to those things. And when you look in the comment section, it's just all over the place. Cussing and fighting and bickering and people calling each other out of their names. All kinds of things. Just wickedness pouring out like never before. And the venom that you see in the comment section, you say, what am I doing? What am I doing? Am I helping to fuel this? I want to be a part of the solution, not the problem. I want to be a part of the solution. I don't like to see what I'm seeing with our people. It is amazing to me that we think this is the way we're supposed to be. We know that there are dark days ahead, family. We know that there's a lot of preparation that needs to take place, but it's gotten to a point where we can't even trust each other. We can't trust each other. It's plain and simple. Some people come on, they have an agenda. I saw some videos that were being put out where there were some accusing others of saying that you're just here to grab the American audience and you have no real love for the American audience. I wish I could talk to these people because I'm able to look at both sides, right? I'm able to look at both sides. I see the points being made here. I see what is happening over here. But most of what we see online, whether it's here on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, is counterproductive. Most of us are looking to gain followers. Let me tell you all something. I'm fastly approaching 100,000 subscribers. My husband went over that amount. There are people who have millions of subscribers. Some have hundreds of thousands. But what I notice is that there is an effort to gain subscribers. A lot of people talk about our subscribers that, oh, you all have all these subscribers, you should be doing this, that, and the other. What they don't realize is we never established our channels for the reasons that you may have established yours. I told you all many years ago why I even started Black Education TV, right? And now I'm telling you why we are redirecting. I had a purpose and a goal, which had absolutely nothing to do with subscribers and followers. Nothing at all to do with that. That's just one of those things that just happened. Okay? It just happened. But I see that our people love entertainment. Entertainment has its place, right? It has its place. We love to have, favorite people. Many of you follow various channels because you like this person. You like their personality. You like their spirit. Many of you have said that about myself, my husband. That's all fine and dandy. But at the end of the day, am I helping you? If I'm not helping you, then I don't want you to watch this channel. If I am not helping you, I'm not helping you just bringing you news, okay? Just telling you what's going on in the world. That is a service, yes. That is a service because we need to know. But guess what? A lot of the stuff that we share and many other people share on their channels is all out there. Everyone's sharing this stuff, right? And many of you come for different perspectives. I understand that. I'm not against any of that, family. But at the end of the day, am I helping you with this content, right? I want to be able to help my people because I love my people. And the enemy tried to snatch that away from me. He tried to get me to the point where I was getting bitter. And I got very close to just pulling out, right? But the Most High said that is not what you are going to do. You cannot do that. The love is too deep, family. It is too deep. But I'm no fool. I'm no fool. Once upon a time, I thought that I had to be a certain way, even if people treated you a certain way. I'm not there anymore. I'm not taking no mess off of nobody. That's me right now, okay? Used to be a time where I would take anything off of anybody, but that is not me anymore, okay? I'm not playing games with anyone. Although I love my people dearly, I know when to pull out of relationships. I know when to say enough is enough. Because if someone is not going to benefit your life positively, if they are toxic, if they are creating a toxic environment for you, if they are causing stress in your life, if they are causing you to go off the deep end spiritually, you've got to detach yourself. I see a lot of people detaching themselves from the awakening, and that's because they were really not a part of the awakening, the true awakening. They were a part of a religious order. Okay, so I would encourage those of you who are on the fence about the true awakening, please don't be on the fence about that. Leave the religious order that you were following, talking about the Hebrew Israelites. It's okay to leave that alone, but the awakening, don't leave that. Don't leave the Most High. Understand and know who you are. Okay, you can separate yourself from that religion, from that cult, but don't separate yourself from your culture, from who you are of the flesh. Okay, there are a number of different things that cause this redirect. Okay, maybe in another video I will share some more specifics, but I'm just going to give you some bullet points right now. Okay, my biological father. Okay, people that we know, friends that have sicknesses and illness that have them afraid that they are going to die. Okay, when I look at the condition of our children, that all focus seems to be on adult bullcrap. No focus on the children who are our future. Okay, no focus on that. Everyone is talking about celebrity crap. Everyone is talking about all of this other crap. It's just so much that is being focused on, but you have no idea the disservice you do to your children when you are not preparing them. I was sitting and I was pondering one day, and I was fast forwarding 30, 40 years down the line. I don't know how much time I have on this earth. I don't know how much time my husband has on this earth. But I said to myself, if we were not here anymore, how would my children survive in this world? Am I preparing them for this world? And the thought, with all that we do, with all that we are teaching our children, the thought scared the hell out of me, family. My children, how is their lives going to be? How are they going to live 30 to 40 years from now? My grandchildren. We as a people and the world in general is focused on so much nonsense. Bickering, fighting, arguing back and forth on videos, on Facebook, Instagram, surrounded by utter chaos. We are behind enemy lines, inside of a beehive, and all we can focus on is nonsense. Let me tell you something. When we did the video where we were talking about the people who are calling various black women transgender, right? And we were talking about how if you don't know, it's best to just be quiet. Okay, that video alone showed me the hearts of our people, that they refuse to repent. It showed me the wickedness of the minds and the hearts of our people when they begin to say, well, how do you know they're women? If they are actually men, then you are the one who is bearing false witness. And I'm like, you don't even get it, do you? How are we bearing false witness when we're not the ones putting out anything, saying that they're anything? When you deflect and you cause arguments of something, when all we're simply saying is, how do you know if someone is a man or a woman? And why are you even talking about that? Right now, we are surrounded by chaos in this world. And our people are so foolish, so carnal, that we are not even preparing our children for what is to come. So focused on foolishness, Hollywood crap. Why are you even talking about that? No one is saying that there is not a transgender agenda. We know that it is. But when you start naming people because of speculations or because they don't look the way you think they should look, let me tell y'all something, family. Someone came on my husband's channel and they saw a video of my hands. They said, look at the Boreal's hands. Women don't have hands that big. I bet she's really a man. So, do you understand where I'm coming from, family? I've laid up and I've had 10 babies. And I have these ignorant, so-called Hebrew Israelites saying that I'm a man. And I've had 10 babies. And when I see that everywhere we go, everywhere we look, there's chaos building. Chaos over here, chaos over there. You see, I have the hands of a woman who works very hard. Thank you very much. But when you get to the point of being so foolish to where you can't even focus on your own future, some of you even have children. Do you know what your children are going to be doing 10 years from now while you're calling me a man? When I see this kind of nonsense coming from adults, it is very sickening, because these adults grow up, their children grow up to mimic them and do the same things. This is what we have taking place in the so-called black community. Now, forget about all the other nations and other groups of people who do similar things. I'm talking to you right now. What is your plan, family? We are behind enemy lines, inside of a beehive. But we are focused on foolishness as a people. So I would like to redirect my focus to people who actually want to do something, who want to actually prepare their families and their lives for the future. And that's not just in the natural, but the spiritual too. There are things that we need to do spiritually to prepare ourselves. Right? I can continue talking in this video. I'm going to have to break this up into many pieces, many parts, because I don't want to get too long with this, because sometimes our people's attention span is not too long. It may only be 5 or 10 minutes, because the important things are being skipped right over. I love you, family. And again, I'm trying to get you all to get your minds on things that matter, and not to focus on things that don't matter. These other nations, they know how to stay on code. They know how to do what is important for them. But our people, no. We don't know how to do what's important for us. We're trying to focus on everyone but us. I would like to see change in our minds. When I say I'm redirecting, family, the change has already started, long before we changed the name to this channel, okay? And those of you who said that you are going to redirect with us, I hope you mean it, because it's going to take a lot of effort on your part, a lot of effort. There are no shortcuts to the mountaintop. If you want to stay in the same position, if you want to be a hamster running on the wheel, going nowhere fast, then continue as you were. Stay as you were. Remain the same. But if you are going to redirect and bring yourself to a different point in life, not just naturally, but spiritually as well, getting your mind out of that foggy state, drive right on through the fog, okay? Because when you get in the fog and you stay there too long, you can't move ahead. Sometimes when you try to move along in the fog too fast, you crash, right? But if you redirect yourself around the fog, or get through it quickly, because some of you are in the middle of it now, so if you're already moving forward, get through it as fast as you can, right? Safely. Meaning you got to get all that stuff out of the way. Dispel that stuff from your mind. Get it out of your mind. Okay, I love you, family. I'm going to end this video right now. And like I said, I have many things that I'm going to talk about in this redirection process, because there is a level of spirituality we're going to have to achieve in order to deal with the things that are happening in this world. The things that are taking place in this world. You can keep playing games if you want. You can keep watching because you're being entertained. Or you can watch for information that you can apply to your life. And there's a way to determine if a person is just talking to you, if they're trying to get you hyped up, if someone is trying to get you to like them, or trying to gain your following, and if they're trying to help you. There's a way to determine that. Eventually it happens. and people realize. But eventually, if you don't understand what you're actually taking into your mind, you're going to be deceived by many people. Some that look like you, some that don't. Understand what an agenda is and how to move past it. How to understand what's more important in your life and in the life of your children. At some point, our children won't be able to depend on us because we won't be here. So, as they grow, you have to equip them and prepare them for life and make it so that they know and understand that they have to pass that information on to their little ones, and so on and so on and so on. It seems that we are the only people who don't understand that the next generation is a reflection of us. And that if they are not getting it because you're not giving it, they're going to be worse. Scripture says that evil men wax worse and worse. And that is what I see happening with our people. I can't so much focus on what other people are doing. I have to focus on what's going on right here in my own community, among my own people. And when I see the things that are not happening, it's frightening. Okay, family. Like I said, I can keep on talking. I can keep on talking, but I have so much to say that I have to break it up. I have to break it up. It's time to redirect, family. Shalom.